Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today our Daniel Tiger toys are sitting in a big box of black sand. This is actually a My Little Sandbox playset, Space Patrol. And we're going to pretend Daniel Tiger is on the surface of the moon. First we're going to add a crater. A crater is a hole in the moon that was hit by an asteroid. Now we will add some space rock. And these aren't real rocks. They're just made of plastic and they're actually quite light. Did you know there was a vehicle for the moon? It looked like this, and it was called the Lunar Roving Vehicle. This is what the astronauts would ride on the surface of the moon. And here are the astronauts. Did you know the first man to walk on the moon's surface was named Neil Armstrong, and he walked on the moon in 1969. He was from America, so he put an American flag on the moon. Let's see if we can stand this up on our little moon. Oops. Oh, we'll just rest it against the box like this. Space is so interesting to us, so we visited the Kennedy Space Center, where we got to see a real spaceship called Atlantis. There was so much to see, but we really wanted to find Atlantis. We saw this big orange rocket booster. This is what the spaceship attaches to before it gets shot into space. And there's the sign, Space Shuttle Atlantis. There was a bit of a lineup, but once we saw it, it was absolutely amazing. It was a lot bigger than I had imagined. It says Atlantis right on the front of it. And this space shuttle spent 306 days in space. But now it's just on display for people to see. We even got to see a real spacesuit. This keeps the astronaut warm and they're able to breathe oxygen, since there's no oxygen in space. Next, we got to navigate our own spaceship with a digital game. It was quite difficult. You had to try and land it. Ooh, ah. We were starting to get quite hungry, and when we entered the cafeteria, you could create your own salad. All of the lettuce was grown in white tubes just like this. I added tomatoes, cucumbers, seeds, and spinach to my salad. Gave me lots of energy. On the way out, we spotted the moon in the sky. Well, that was a fun day, Daniel. We sure learned a lot about space. Daniel Tiger is digging in the moon dust. Will he find some treasure? And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today the Teletubbies and I were picking our fruits and vegetables from the garden. What do you see?
A cucumber, a tomato, a red cherry tomato, and a yellow tomato, an orange pepper, and a squash.
Nothing is better than fresh veggies from the garden, but we have one more thing to dig out. I'm going to put on my gardening gloves. Can you guess what vegetable I'm going to grab out of the garden now? They are used to make French fries or potato chips.
Potatoes!
Potatoes! But it looks like an animal has been digging already in my garden. There's a big hole. Here's a clue. There's a turkey feather. I wonder if the turkeys were digging in my garden. And here's another turkey feather. It has beautiful colors, oranges and greens with little white tips. Before we start digging for potatoes, I wanted to show you the bees on the flowers. Do you know what the bee is doing?
When the bees land on flowers, they're looking for nectar.
That's right. These flowers are from my mint leaves. Now back to digging for potatoes. Count with me, tiny fans. Let's see how many potatoes we find.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's very tiny. 5.
I found yellow potatoes and red potatoes. I think we have enough for dinner tonight. Now let's see if we have any more zucchinis growing. Ah, there's one. It's not quite big enough to pick though. And there's a few tiny ones beside it.
I see something red.
Let's go see what it is. It's a tiny little red jalapeno pepper. Very spicy. Tiny Treasures tried one the other day. Was it spicy?
Very, very, very spicy.
Now let's go see how our greenhouse is doing. It's at the end of the summer, so the plants are starting to die off. As you can see, the cucumbers don't look very healthy. We grew about 10 cucumbers on this plant. Let's see, are there any more growing? There's a little one. And there's another little one there. And if we look a little further down here, you will see an orange pepper. This one isn't spicy, it's sweet. Well, I think it's time to go inside and make a salad and wash off those potatoes so we can put them in the oven. Oh, and there's Puppy. I think he has something stuck on his paw.
And thank you for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today we're going into a magical world in the forest. We're even going to explore the castle. Do you see the dragon on the top? Don't be afraid. He's not real. We are greeted at the gates by a famous character. It's Humpty Dumpty. Wash your hands, cup your hands, drink the Mountain Dew. Be sure to make a special wish. Who knows? It might come true. And this is the entrance to the castle. I see an alligator down below in the swamp. Good thing there's a bridge leading to the castle. And inside the castle lives a wizard. He has a glowing magic ball. He's telling us about the magical forest. I'm the king of the castle. The Teletubbies are at the top. But let's start our journey through the forest. Hey, look, Laa Laa. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells, and pretty maids all in a row. Look, Teletubbies, a house that's just the right size for you. But somebody already lives here. Next, we see a red barn and a red button. When you push it, the farmer starts talking to the rooster. There are a lot of eggs, but did you know, tiny fans, roosters can't lay eggs? They are male chickens. Tiny Treasures Mini is having fun with the red digger. We scoop up the sand, and we're going to bury a Teletubby. Who is it? Sorry, Tinky Winky. The enchanted egg. And what a beautiful egg it is. There's a little window to look inside. I see little gnomes in a village. And speaking of gnomes, they're all over the forest. This one's under a beautiful rainbow. Do you know the story of the woman who lives in the shoe? She had so many children she didn't know what to do. And there are all of the kids' clothes hanging to dry. Let's go inside the shoe. It's just big enough for me to fit. And there are children everywhere inside. Let's see if I can get up the stairs. Oh, yep, there's another child. And Laa Laa made it to the top. Hi, Laa Laa. There's a slide out back. Come on down, Teletubbies. We found another little house, perfect for the Teletubbies. What's inside? This gnome is playing hide and go seek by the tree. We had a great day in our magical forest. It's time to leave through the blue tunnel. And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. Today we have a few of our favorite toys waiting for a special surprise delivery. And Puppy's waiting with us too. He's quite warm because we're sitting in a sunroom. Let's go outside. We'll wait for our special delivery on the beach. This is our blue beach bungalow. There's a sign on the top of the roof that says, "Welcome." It's the perfect size for our toys. That must be the delivery guy. Let's go, Puppy, and we'll check out our package. Our tiny fans are going to be super surprised. In order to open our package, we need to be in our greenhouse. That might give you a clue as to what it would be. And here's another hint. We ordered these in order to help our plants not get eaten by these little tiny bugs called aphids. And here's our package. We ordered 250 ladybugs, and we get to release them into our greenhouse, where they will hopefully eat all of the aphids. We need to read the instructions. Mist plants lightly with water. Release in the cool of dusk or dawn. Release directly into pest infestations. So we're going to use our mister hose and spray our plants. Now that our plants are all moist, we're ready to release all of our ladybugs. I'm going to open the bag slowly.
Whoa, look at all those ladybugs.
Wow! Let's see if we can help get them out of the bag. Most of them are attached to this grassy hay-like stuff. Oh! Let's put it over into a plant. We have to be very careful not to step on any. There are still a lot of ladybugs in the bag. Maybe I will put the bag on the ground so that they can crawl out on their own. Look, one of the little ladybugs flew up and landed on my hand. Now we get to watch the ladybugs. I wonder if they'll all stay together, or will they separate and go to different plants? I think I'm going to put them in the tomato plant. This plant has the most aphids. As we watch the ladybugs, Tiny Treasures is going to talk about a few fun facts about them.
Did you know that ladybugs are not actually bugs? They are insects, and another name for a ladybug is a ladybird.
Broby has spotted some of the ladybugs climbing up the metal wire on the tomato plant. I sure hope they're hungry and eat some aphids.
Did you know that ladybugs may eat up to 5,000 aphids in their life?
Wow.
They also eat fruit flies and mites.
Well, I sure hope that our new ladybugs enjoy their new home. And thank you so much for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Tiny Treasures. As you remember, in a recent video, we were going to make popcorn. But our silly little kitty decided she was going to plop her little body inside the bowl, and we couldn't get her out. Since then, we've washed the bowl, and now we're finally ready to make popcorn. Popcorn is a much healthier snack than salty chips. It's even high in iron if you use multicolored popcorn kernels. But remember, always get help from an adult when using appliances or heating up some butter for your popcorn. This popcorn maker spins the kernels around and heats them up. And now they're beginning to pop. Okay, all of the kernels have popped, so let's turn off the machine. Uh-oh, look who's back. No, kitty, don't get in the bowl. It's full of popcorn. And we don't want kitty fur in our popcorn. Now let's melt some butter. Oh, look who's in the fridge and found the butter. Thanks, Po and Laa Laa. We're melting it on the stove. But remember, Tiny fans, you never use a stove without the help of a responsible adult. While we're waiting for the butter to melt, let's say hi to our new friend. His name is Blaze, and he's a little fingerling dinosaur. He can do all sorts of little tricks. He has sensors in his head. We better get back to the butter. It's melted and ready to pour on the popcorn. We spread it out nice and evenly. Oops! And then we choose our yummy seasoning. I love dill pickle. These are all natural with no preservatives. And this is salt and vinegar. Let me try a piece. And lastly, we add nutritional yeast flakes. They're high in vitamin B. Vitamin B is good for combating anxiety. It looks so good. Let's get a little bowl for our Teletubbies toys. Doesn't it look good, Po? Okay, Tiny fans, did you see what cars were in the background behind the Teletubbies? 2 Hot Wheels, one blue and one red. And thank you for coming to Tiny Treasures. Please subscribe to our videos. Goodbye.